The Jaguars are now on the clock. Jets are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. Buccaneers are now on the clock. Redskins are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. Are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. Packers are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. Saints are now on the clock. Falcons are now on the clock. Now on the clock. Are now on the clock. Saints are now on the clock. Jaguars are now on the clock. Saints are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. Saints are now on the clock. Texans are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Hey everybody, it's the coach. Welcome to the special Saturday edition of the NFL on EA Sports. Up next, we've got what should be an intriguing matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. With that, we send you up to US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, standing by our commentators, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. Hello, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden, and partner, our long national nightmare is over. After 6 months away, we're back to playing football.
And this is way better than Watergate, isn't it? Now we get to have some fun. Watch the veterans. They'll play a little bit. We know that. But the big thing, this new crop of rookies and young guys, they get their chance to take the field and earn their spot.
Here's the kicker, Jake Elliott, ready to get this one started. And we are underway from downtown Minneapolis. Fielded about a yard deep. And not a bad return. Here he gets it out to the 25-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. Leading the charge at quarterback, the former Georgia Bulldog, Matthew Stafford.
And his arm strength is often described as out of this world, and I've seen some throws out of him that are just really off the charts. But sometimes he relied on his arm so much his footwork got in the way, led to some inconsistency. But I've loved watching him evolve as a quarterback. He gets better and better each year.
And they'll go on the ground. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down.
And that's the big fella's MO right there. Running through tackles, keeping the sticks moving forward. In this defense, if you don't bring 11 guys to the ball to try and get him on the ground, he's going to keep making runs like that. I feel the press box shaking every time he touches the rock.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get this one up to about the 39 here. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They establish the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
To throw on second down is Stafford. And he's got the hook up here. It's Kyle Rudolph. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A really nice pickup of 14 yards, and it moves the sticks.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses, because when you can have that type of a gain in the middle of the defense, it hurts them in so many ways, because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that opens things up for you on the outside as well.
But that's where their big tight end, is so good, that middle third, the seam routes, the in routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it.
Partner, your thoughts on this D-line?
I love a unit that can control the run and get after the passer. This is an all-around terrific defensive front. Hard to move the ball against them on the ground, and then when you want to throw it, look out. Here they come after the quarterback.
And they'll run it here. And he's going to be met at about the 43. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
So here are the Saints with a long field ahead. And they'll be led out by the guy under center, Charles, at quarterback.
I read something prepping for this game that he said prior to, and I think he really said it a few months ago, where he talked about he wants to have the type of season that at the end, he's buying gifts for all the guys who helped him along the way. And I know that the team wants to hold him to that and really get into his wallet. But that's what good leadership gives you. You know, at the end of the season, because you've done a great job, QB, he's usually the guy who springs for the good stuff.
Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
They'll drop to throw. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's going to lose yardage here back to the 12-yard line. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation. He'll look to throw. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning. Hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. And now out comes Minnesota. And our game's hit a little bit of a lull here, a little bit of a snag. Punts on back-to-back drives.
And old-school coaches don't necessarily mind that. Didn't turn it over, right? Didn't create a big play for the other team. Right now what you're looking for is, can you gain an advantage in field position? And that's what both teams are seeking right now.
Yeah, they'll be seeking to gain that advantage here on this drive.
If you're running out route, it's likely you're going to end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up, and making sure it was a catch.
Stafford. And oh, look at that. A diving catch. They go play action here on first down. And complete. Right side, the tight end Rudolph. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. A good chance this is 4-down territory if they're unable to convert. But right now looking at a 3rd and 3. Stafford looks to throw again. And Rudolph has it, the tight end. The ball comes out, and this is picked up by the Saints. And they have the football and will set up shop at the 33-yard line.
No coach or team's ever happy when someone has a turnover, but if there's ever a good time to do it,
preseason.
Yeah, right now. You know that come regular season, he's going to be ready to go, and maybe he'll remember, I don't want to do this when it comes time for the games to count.
He's got his man on the crossing route. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. Give him 30 yards there.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play. They picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. A handoff, Fournette running left. And he'll snag about 5 yards down to the 32.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and that's going to make it 3rd down and less than a yard.
All right, Brand, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
They'll try and run for it with Fournette. And he will have a first down at about the 21-yard line. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue.
Yeah, once more, strong running, excellent blocking at the point of attack. They've got a nice little drive brewing right here.
Now a play fake here on first down. And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. It's the fullback from 21 yards away. And the Saints have taken the early lead. And it was a tight window. He knew he had to rocket that thing in there. He got it done.
And when you're able to complete one like that, your confidence has to just go sky high. You just mentioned it. Tight window, zings it in there despite excellent coverage. Result, touchdown.
Elliott good on the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. Elliott now to kick this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. And the Vikings now heading onto the field. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now. And I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
Stafford on first down. And that's complete. It's the Carr-to-Cooper connection. They showed off a nice juke of the defender before the next wave could bring him down. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
It's funny when I go back to our pregame meeting with Amari Cooper, and we mentioned, what if they play man coverage against you? He almost seemed offended by it, didn't he?
I'll beat it. That's basically what he said, right?
I mean, the best receivers we've ever talked to and covered, when you talk about covering them with one guy, they think that's a personal affront. If they feel like if they can't just beat one defender, then they're not very good.
And they'll go ground game here with the tailback. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable. And you know me pretty well on second down and short. What I like to see.
Play action.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought that was a great spot to call it. Instead, didn't go their way, did it?
No, defense sold out for the run. Worked out well. On third down. That's right. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. That'll make it fourth down after a loss of 1.
Fourth and short, partner. I mean, this would be a really risky call. Here we are in the first quarter.
On your own side of the field.
Own side of the field. But, boy, what a tone setter that would be to go for it and get it, wouldn't it?
You're gritty today. I like it.
I'm feeling it.
Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. And now the Saints get set to trot out there. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
The fourth down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on first down. The play-action fake. They'll look to throw. This one grabbed by A.J. Green. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That one goes for 24 yards. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. And a nice gain of 21 yards. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Flushed out right. Going to throw right side here. Complete. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. The completion good for 3, and it's second down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And a short gain here down to the 22. Kendall Beckwith on the stop. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his third down play as we've hit the end of quarter 1. 7-0 is our score. We're back to Minneapolis in just a moment.
The NFL on EA Sports is fueled by Gatorade, the sports fuel company.
They're on the march, but facing a third down here. And here comes throw number 1 for the backup QB. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and that's what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
Now a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete. They'll try again here from the 7 on second and goal. He'll get it up the middle. And a little bit of space there. Takes it inside the 5 to the 3. Give him right around 4 on the carry. We'll see if they want to keep pounding here on 3rd and goal.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
The Saints on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here. They'll set up to throw. A bullet throw, but incomplete.
And based on my math, they've only converted 1 time thus far in this game, so you can see the frustration starting to come out a little bit. 3rd downs, they've been a problem for them all game. They've got to start becoming solutions.
A field goal would make it a 2-score game, but they're going to go aggressive. They're going to try this thing on 4th and goal.
Here we go now. Green, 39.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, no. And barrel his way into the end zone for a Saint touchdown. A great effort there. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Saints add on to their lead. Showing some grits and some guts going for it there. 4th and goal, pounding it in.
And being rewarded for that confidence in the team, huh? The coach saying, let's go ahead and get this. And how about the guys up front firing out, finding a little bit of a crack for them to get through? Touchdown. I love it.
Elliott on for the extra point. Elliott good with a PAT, and that'll make the score 14-0. A good drive that time as they go 9 plays in all. And it ends with a 3-yard scoring run. Elliott now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board.
Here we go now.
Here's the first carry for Bo Scarborough. And he'll get this one up to the 26. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
3-19. 3-19.
And now the first throw for the backup quarterback. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
Let's just break this down and make it pretty simple. Key to the drag route, letting the play develop, finding the hole in the defense, and giving your athlete, yes, athlete, a chance to make something happen once he has the ball in his hands.
Now Scarborough. No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively, and it likely forces a punt situation on 4th.
I know it's the first half, but it's still hard to curb the enthusiasm for that stop. 3rd and 1, and the offense can't get there. The defensive team has got to feel very good about themselves. Great job out-leveraging the offense.
We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Saints will take over with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. And the good news, his team's winning. The bad news, he hasn't had the game that he's hoped to, at least to this point here in the 2nd quarter.
And a lot of that is pride, because these types of backs want to be in the center of all the action and leading their team to victory. They'll take the win right now, hoping to jump his game up as this one moves on.
And he probably wants a little bit more of the spotlight going forward. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
And an alley to run. And he's able to get up here to the 26. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Right back to him on first down. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
No. Check. Patriot.
And they'll go with a ground attack here. Room to run past midfield. That's good for 21 yards and a first down.
That outside handoff to the left, that play has to warm the heart of an offensive line coach because they controlled the left side where they were supposed to, but they didn't allow anything to leak from the backside on the right side of the offensive line either. Well played.
Yeah, and it created a big run. A pair of first downs gives them a 1st and 10 up at the 44. Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. Wide open receiver complete. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is it not? With his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing it over the middle, he can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play. But what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
He'll try again with the arm here on 2nd down. Looking left sideline, it's complete. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered.
And he's got it. Touchdown, Saints. Jesse James, a 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Saints now add 6 to their lead.
Sometimes when I see these types of plays executed, I think of basketball. Guys boxing other guys off to go out and get a rebound.
And he got the rebound right there, but the defense was really placed well.
Yeah, they were right there. I mean, that's where it's really tough for a defender. When you're in the right spot, you're draped on the guy catching the ball, yet he still comes down with it.
Elliott now to add the extra point. Elliott good on the extra point. And that makes the score 21-0. Elliott now to kick this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
A good run there on first down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
Now they'll run it with Scarborough. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give him a new set of downs.
But we always talk about good down and distance, allowing offenses to expand their playbook. Well, 2nd and 2, that means your playbook's wide open. You can run just about anything. But a lot of times, the play caller, he just looks down at his sheet, sees the short yardage runs, and goes to one of those.
So he got free of 1 tackle, but couldn't do a whole lot else. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up Second down.
Hurry up, here we go. 319.
This is Scarborough, and unable to get downhill there as he'll take this up to about the 37. 2 yards the gain there, and now they're left with a third and about 4 for a first.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A gain of 26 on the third down conversion.
Thus far, it hasn't been a real fun half for them, but a play like that may get them off the schneid a little bit, get them loosened up and moving.
Kind of seems like they've been sleepwalking and still sitting on 0 points.
And it's not always making an adjustment. Sometimes it's just going back to what you know can work and finally getting it done.
Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. Throwing on first down. Potter, and his throw here's incomplete.
But one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. From the 24, they'll go again on 2nd and 10.
Here we go now. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Back to the air on 2nd down. Potter, they'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. A nice pick up there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
They ran that one well, and not only did they pick up a nice chunk of yardage on the screen, they sent a message to the defense. Rush the passer all you want, but you better be careful. We can hit you going back the other direction.
Set. Blue 90. Blue 90.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They look lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down.
Here we go now. Blue 90.
Throwing again. Potter, this will be caught at about the 6. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. They'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for third down.
Well, he made that catch knowing full well that at the end of it, he's going to catch a pretty good lick.
I guess if there's anyone on this team that can absorb a pop, it's him. The Vikings on third down, just 1 for 5 to this point. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation.
Blue 90.
Looking to throw. Potter. And that is incomplete.
Perhaps they overthought this one a little bit. They've been running it real well on this drive, and it was 3rd and short, okay? They decided to throw the football incomplete. Yeah, they might have thought just a little bit too hard about that play selection.
And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and the deficit drops now from 21 down to 18. A dozen plays on that drive that ends with the field goal.
Let's go ahead and break out some of the old chestnuts here, right, partner? Keep the ball in front, rally to it, and make the tackle, right? No big plays given up, no balls over your head. Bend, don't break.
Now a hit and a loose football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line.
Let's just call that play exactly what it is. Needed, because they wanted to get back in the game, and they knocked the ball free, and now they have a chance to do exactly that.
They got the chance. Now they have to take advantage.
Now let's go. 319.
They'll run it now out of the gun. He's to the 10. And finally taken down at the 4-yard line. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. This is 1st and goal and a golden chance to get a score back here before halftime.
Now let's go.
They'll come out in the pistol.
Blue 90.
Operating from the gun, Potter. And that is out of the back of the end zone, incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Line of scrimmage, again the 4-yard line, 2nd and goal.
All right, here we go. Green 39.
Back to throw, Potter. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they didn't completions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the 1st down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
He loses 4, and it brings up 4th. And now the Saints are going to take a timeout on defense, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. And for the 2nd time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. This just a 24-yard attempt. And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and that'll get the deficit down to 15. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and...
Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And they finally get him, but not before he reaches the 33-yard line. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30.
Detroit!
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Kelly. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on 1st and goal. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. The quick slant caught. Nice job defensively to hold him to 4, and now it's 2nd and goal. So we have reached halftime. Boy, rough crowd. No football for 6 months. Already we're skipping halftime. All right, let's get right back to the action. We're set for quarter 3. Probably not likely to see many starters in the second half as we get back at it underway in this preseason opener. Fielded about a yard deep. Ooh, with a juke. And he'll take this across the 25. Couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. Meanwhile, taking a look at what's going on in KC. And it's the Panthers there out to the early advantage. Jameis Winston leading the way offensively. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And that is incomplete.
So many offenses want to include their running backs into their passing offense and be able to swing the ball out or check it down to them. But sometimes those guys are just not as comfortable catching the ball as they are running it.
Now let's go! Blue 90!
And And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll set up a 3rd down.
That second down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did, to get them into a manageable 3rd down, because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
The Saints on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Now back to throw. Over the middle, complete. That's King. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. And 15 yards there on the catch and run. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there. If he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw. I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. We'll give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
That was good, tough running right up the middle. And if the defense can't penetrate and make him slow his pace or change direction, that's often the end result.
A couple of first downs has the football positioned at the 43 as they come up 1st and 10.
Here we go now.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on 1st down. And some good tackling there as he stopped up at about the 41. Sean Dion Hamilton was there to bring him down defensively.
That play reminded me a lot of a former teammate of mine. We used to call him the trash man. His ability to sift through traffic and make plays was uncanny.
And that's exactly what you want from your Mike linebacker. Drop to throw. That is incomplete.
Brandon, it looked like he had his hands on it for a moment, but let's face it, that was going to be a tough catch all the way because of the presence of the defense right there as he was trying to haul it in.
Yeah, nice job to force the incompletion. The Saints on 3rd down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This is 3rd and 8. Looking to throw. Hard throw, incomplete.
Let's face it, you can run the route tree as many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things. But once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
And I tell you what, he got it from 58. That had lots of leg behind it. These kickers now, it's like we take them for granted. Kicks like that. used to be such a big deal, and now you just expect them to make it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we shouldn't take them for granted, but I have a theory about it. You want to hear it?
Yep.
They are more athletic now than ever before. Talk about kickers. Trace their backgrounds, trace their histories. You'll find that they were big-time athletes all along, but their kicking was so prevalent that we made them specialists.
Well, and now those 50-plus yarders seem easy for some reason. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half two.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
A really nice gain of 25 yards.
I know I spent a lot of time talking about how tight ends in a lot of cases now are pumped up wide receivers, but they're still big people. He used that frame right there to absorb a really big hit on him and held on to the ball.
They run. This is Scarborough. He'll get 3 up to midfield.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Now let's go. Green 39.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Escaping the pressure right. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Turns out to be a great idea to tuck that one. Good for 24 yards.
Sometimes guys get locked into such a groove. What do we call it? The game slowing down. They see everything happening almost in slow motion. They see the lanes develop. I feel like he's right there.
Well, and you want this from your leader, right? With this deficit, this stage of the game, second half, no quit in him.
0.
Looking left side, Andrews with it complete. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense. And reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? And it sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him.
Set. Blue 90. Blue 90.
And on the ground they go with the running back. And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
It's Scarborough again. Call it a gain of 5 that time, and they'll be left with a 3rd and about 4.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
The Vikings on 3rd down. It's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. This is 3rd and 4.
Now let's go. 3.
And they'll go on the ground. And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. 2 yards on the pickup there. It's 4th down.
Now, that was a big-time play by the defense. They as well knew where the first down line was, and they didn't let them get anywhere near it.
And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and that'll get the deficit down to 15. So his 3rd field goal of the ballgame brings him a bit closer, but there's no question they need to start turning some of these 3s into 6s.
And 7s, and probably even 8s. You know, as a kicker, you just head out when you're called upon, so he's done his job. It's the rest of the offense that needs to get it in gear if they want to close this gap.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Now the Saints offense, they get ready to go back to work here. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, That doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try to increase your lead in a big way. And the best way to do it, touchdowns.
All right, now look at 56.
Well, that play was doomed right from the start.
They just about ran into every defender on that one, didn't he? It felt like everyone got a piece of that tackle.
They'll look to throw. Trying to lob it in there, but it's incomplete.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Back to throw here. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off right around the 43. And his guys will take over at their own 44-yard line.
Oh, man, Brandon, not a real good throw that time. It looked like he tried to put a little too much air under this one, and it turned into a floater. And defensively, this is a dream. He could have fair caught that one. That was way too easy.
Looking to throw. Potter, and that's incomplete. Jake Butt, the tight end, his intended receiver. And now it's second down.
I think he's a little trigger happy right there, and it turned into an ill-advised throw into their zone.
Well, we know he has confidence. He'll throw it any place, anytime, anywhere. That time it fell incomplete.
Hurry up, here we go. Green.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Potter buying time to his left. And he'll slide down to avoid the contact. He'll wind up getting 4 there on his own, but it will leave him now with a third down situation.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
Back to throw. Potter. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
Here's Ryan Allen now as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. Let's see how they attack him here. And incomplete as he was knocked as he threw it, and it took the ball off course. And now following the incomplete pass, we'll get a timeout here for an injured player. Definitely the last thing you want to see here in a preseason game. We'll be right back. After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. On 2nd down, Freeman. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs.
But we just saw him run the football really effectively there with 3 tight ends in the game. And any defensive coordinator, when they see that set, if they can get more bodies out onto the field, not more than 11, of course, but bigger bodies to combat what they're going to do, because that's a run-heavy formation. Those guys are out there to block 9 times out of 10. And in this case, they did it really successfully.
Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball, protect this lead, give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them.
All right, here we go.
Now a handoff. It's Freeman. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a first down. Keep the sticks moving.
Couple of first downs to kick off the drive. Here's 1st and 10 up at the 46. He'll look to throw. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's brought down, but not before a really nice stiff arm to create a little space. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
No, check, Patriot!
Coming left, it's Freeman. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. But the converse is, though, you've got to win those one-on-one blocks. And when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
Looking left side, he's got it, complete. It'll be a pickup of 4, good enough to earn him yet another first down.
Did you see that route the way that I did? I thought he was trying to get deep.
Yeah, that
first.
wasn't the first option.
No, it came off of that guy, the deep guy, and came underneath on the drag, completed it very well.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's the Saints. They'll be looking to expand their lead here. They've got the football as we start the 4th. This is Freeman on 1st and 10. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. The loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there, and now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
And he'll cross over out of bounds right at the 25. And a nice gain of 21 yards. Still throwing the football here, even with the big lead.
Yeah, I know you and I came up in a different era, and we think about sportsmanship and all that. Other people think about fantasy points and getting their numbers. That's all they care about right now.
Fight and intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked off down near the 5. And the return will stop right around the 25. 2-score game here in the 4th, and that pick, it kind of keeps the door ajar, doesn't it?
It does, and you wonder about their strategy because with a 2-score lead, you would think maybe you're just sitting on it and trying to drain some clock. It's almost like they felt like, hey, we've got a good cushion. We can keep pressing it. It ended up costing them.
They'll start things on 1st down with Bo Scarborough. And bulldozing his way through. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A big run there, 29 yards and a first.
We'll definitely see some open running lanes, and he's taking advantage of it right now, but that shouldn't be a surprise. Defense has the lead. They're playing for the pass first.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
On 1st down, Potter. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he'll get it down here to the 43. Call it a 3-yard gain, and that'll make it 2nd down. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running.
Right, here we go.
Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Looking to throw. Potter. And the hit jarred loose. It's incomplete. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. On 3rd down, Potter. And this is going to be incomplete.
The protection up front, very good on that play. Had all night to throw the football, even though he was unsuccessful.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it.
Here we go now. Blue line.
Got to try it here. He's back to throw. And this is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Saints will have the football back. So they really needed points here in a two-score game. Could not come away with anything there on fourth.
And while we know they're a little bit discouraged here, they can't check out of this game. You and I have called a good number of games over the course of our career where we've seen these types of situations. Teams get the ball back, and that miracle.
The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack.
I know there'll be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and end up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going. Now it's Freeman, and he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up third down.
Now that's a nice play. Got me fired up, partner. But can they do it back-to-back plays? All the training that you go through as a defense for these situations, when you have to get the ball back, everything you go through, holding up the runner, raking at the football, getting to the passer, knocking it out of his hands.
And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked off near the 44. And he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line.
Well, I get what he was trying to do. He was moving to his right and trying to shift the coverage, but instead he shifted the coverage also to the right and threw right into it for an interception.
Hurry up, here we go. Green, 39. Green.
On 1st and 10, Potter, and they're not able to hook up there. Incomplete.
And we just saw another example. These cornerbacks have played tight coverage all game long. Might start wanting to think about a few double, triple move routes to try and shake their guys free.
You're right, they have had no room to breathe. To throw again, Potter. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep two hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish.
319. 319.
To throw on third down, Potter. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains. And in a two-score game, obviously, every play, every third down, like we saw there, magnified, big pickup.
It was a huge pickup. What they really want, though, is to not even get to third down. They've got to maximize time and conserve as much as possible.
And he'll be out of bounds as he gets this down to about the 21 or 22. 4 yards on the pickup, and it'll be second down.
Was that a receiver? Yeah, actually it was. It was a running back who was a receiver on the play. I think he's been spending time in the receiver drills getting his feet down.
Well, those guys out of the backfield, they got to be good, agile with their feet. He showed the agility there with a toe tap.
No doubt about it. It's like he'd run to ballet school. Got the toes down and stayed in bounds.
It's a 6-yard run, leaves him with about a foot or so here still to go to hit the marker with third down coming up. They try again with Scarborough, and he'll have the first down, getting this one to the 14-yard line. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
Brandon, this can be so demoralizing for a defense. They've had 2 opportunities to get off the field. They haven't gotten it done. So now your coordinator is going to call every blitz that he has, any type of exotic, something that they haven't seen before. And he's also telling the defensive lineman, don't worry about holding people up. Just get in gaps and try and make a big play.
And not only not getting off the field on 2 opportunities, clock continuing to run.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
All right, here we go. Blue line it.
And they'll run it here. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
And that last carry puts him right at 100 yards for the game. So how has he done it? Because he's been patient, followed his blocks, let everything develop, and then burst through for big gains.
Back to throw. Potter, nowhere to go here. He lost the football. The Saints say they have it, and they do.
You know, if this is the regular season, partner, we'd be talking about just how costly a mistake that was, but probably good for him to get it out of his system right now.
Just hope for him and the team it's not a sign of things to come.
Yeah, without a doubt. Plus, got to worry about making the team. Those types of errors don't help you.
Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Well, don't change that channel just yet. This one may have gotten a bit more interesting.
Put down the remote, put down the clicker. This one looked like it was over. It looked like they were ready to seal the deal. But in doing so, by pitching it around a little bit, it cost them. We could have a great finish.
Extra point up and good by Catanzaro as this gets him back within a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. No, a nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle him.
Dez Bryant with nothing but green grass ahead of him. Past the 20. Touchdown, New Orleans. Dez Bryant with officially a 103-yard return. And the Saints add on to their lead.
That was a special return, and it happened because he's a special returner. He has to have that approval from his special teams coach's head coach to bring it out of the end zone.
But let's be honest, a lot of times where they bring it out of the end zone like he did there, they don't have approval. I mean, I think a lot of times they do, but correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes it's just a guy getting a feel, right?
You're exactly right. What's the old adage? Sometimes you just have to know when to break the rules. And if you do, you're taking on some responsibility. But he was happy to do so there.
So that one officially goes down to the books as a return for a touchdown on the kickoff of 103 yards. So let's try this again. After the kick return, TD, here's yet another kickoff. This is fielded a couple yards deep. Now a hit and a loose football. And his guys are going to get the football at the 23-yard line. And careless with a football there on the kick return.
And one thing I love about going to practices is trying to get around coaches and hear their catchphrases and what they really emphasize. We haven't been to a single one yet this year where a guy fielding a kick, you don't hear, tuck it away, tuck it away, tuck it away. And this time, they turned it over.
Ball security eluded him. And he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3. Able to stay in bounds, so the clock keeps rolling. And this defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in. And all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is, first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
A solid pickup of 13 sets him up 1st and goal. Great time there to come up with his longest run of the night. We just saw it.
Leads to a lot of satisfaction because if they're able to hang on and win this game, you know what else will happen in the locker room after this?
What's that?
Head coach will step up and go, great job, guys. Because of that, come in a little bit later tomorrow.
They'll run here with Freeman. And he'll actually lose a little bit of yardage here. Back to the 2. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. Back at the 2 now. Here's 2nd and goal. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. In for the score. And the Saints now add 6 to their lead. Still an important piece of business to take care of, the extra point. Elliott good with a PAT. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Elliott now to kick this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride?
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, "Who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time." But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them. 2nd and 10 now from the 27. Back to the air on 2nd down. Potter. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
From the gun, Potter. And he comes back with one complete. A big play for the Vikings on 3rd down. 46 yards.
As we continue to advance in the NFL, as people continue to scout players, they really don't care as much about body types as they care about those guys who can make people miss, run through tackles, and gain all that additional run after catch. Anybody who has that ability, they want them on their team.
And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Potter. This will be caught inside the 10. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. 18 yards there, and it'll be a 1st and goal. Operating from the gun, Potter. He's going to be sacked back at the 23-yard line. They're going to need to get up and set in a hurry. To throw on 2nd down. Potter. That is caught inside the 5. Really nice gain on the completion. However, still 3rd and goal that they face now. From the gun on 3rd down. Potter. And this is caught. For the moment, it's a touchdown, but multiple flags down, so let's sort this out.
Illegal touching. Offense.
So reverse the celebration. We'll see if they have something else in their bag of tricks.
And isn't that always tough to watch when they score and you see the excitement, and then when they realize those points aren't going to count? Can they get it back together and find their way back to the end zone?
And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and the deficit falls under 20 now. It's a 19-point game. Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
The Saints coming out now to take the field. They have the dream scenario you hope for coming into the game. Just one kneel here, and this game should be over.
And it's always the final play of preparation each week. The practicing of the kneel-down formation, the victory formation. We've got a game in hand, and that's all they're going to want to do now. They'll put someone back deep just in case something goes haywire. But all in all, take the snap, kneel down, and shake hands. Yes, get out of there.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. From the 21, it's 2nd and 10.
Hurry up, here we go. Green, 39.
Now it looks like he'll throw here. He's going to float this one deep right side. That's incomplete. Nearly another pick. My goodness.
Trying to decipher what's going on out there because I don't know if he's just getting bad reads. I don't know if the defense is confusing him. I don't know if he just has, bad info and intel before he snaps the ball. But he's made some pretty bad decisions with the football lately.
Yeah, several bad decisions on the interceptions he's thrown in. Frankly, that should have been another. He's got a man complete. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Back to throw. And he's going to go down. Back near midfield at the 49. And before this 2nd down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Flush to his right. Oh, a scrap for the football, and he's going to come down with it. And now with 4 seconds left, we get a timeout call. And welcome back, the offensive unit. They took the timeout, and now they get set to line up as we resume action. Oh, now look at this. They're lining up to add 3 more. Little insult to injury here late in the game. He hit his first. Now this from 43. And the kick is good. So you wonder how this one might be remembered the next time these 2 teams meet. But until then, this game's over. But, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feel like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
As an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So that'll do it. For my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry, I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. From Minneapolis, good night, everybody.